In Soviet Russia, Will and Dave show listens to you.
Well, hi kids, you might be a little bit confused what we're doing, but the Will and Dave show, it's our Sunday edition. Basically, we have to get an hour of stuff done in order for us to make our commitments for our stuff on ETV Motorsports Radio. And Dave, unfortunately, we kind of fucked up, well, I fucked up on Friday, when no one could hear my mic.
Of course, it was your screw-up that caused me to have to get up early and do this again, so thank you.
What, it's not as if you don't like talking to me anyway. You're making this sound like a chore, for fuck's sake.
It is a chore, having to deal with you every moment.
Oh, sweetheart. Don't forget, hashtag Will and Dave on Twitter. Follow me at Will Vincent. Follow him at DRJ2983. Also, Facebook.com/Will and Dave. That is WILNDAVE. Right, Dave. What the fuck happened in those last 20 laps of the nationwide race yesterday? Okay, we're going green this time, bye. Okay, we're not going green. We're not going green. We're going green. We're not going green.
Well, I was on Facebook saying how awesome of a race this was. I was really, really happy with the quality of the race, how well it was going, and how lots of passes for the lead, and then they just totally choked it up by not throwing a red flag and waving off the green and bringing it back, and then say, "Oh, we want to go." Well, now we're not doing it again, and they just pissed away like 7 or 8 good laps. It really ruined it for me because it was such a good race up to that point, and then they're just driving around under caution for 10 extra laps because they got a guy in a bucket with speedy dry instead of using a truck or whatever, or throwing a red flag, or any other decision would have been better than the one NASCAR made to just keep waving off the green.
Well, IndyCar, they kind of have the unofficial official rule now that if you're in a situation where you're only going to get a couple of laps green, or there might be a chance that you are going to stay under caution for a long time, they just red flag the race now. And I think NASCAR, they very easily could have just red flagged that race. And there are going to be some conspiracy theorists who are going to say that NASCAR almost wanted to make it a little bit too difficult for Sam Hornish so that Austin Dillon could win the championship.
Yeah, the conspiracy theories were already flying around before the race had even ended. But you know what? They seem legitimate because it seems NASCAR has a history of playing with the finishes and throwing cautions when it doesn't really seem like there should be one. There's a piece of pencil lead on the apron at turn 3. Let's throw a yellow. But, at Watkins Glen, there's oil all over the track, and Keselowski and Ambrose and Kyle Busch are sliding all over the place like they're on an ice rink, and NASCAR just says, "Oh, we thought the car was just smoking. We didn't realize there was oil on the track." They can pinpoint a freaking paper cup in the infield and throw a yellow, but they couldn't see oil on the track. It just smacks of thinking the fans are stupid.
Of course, some people will argue that NASCAR have to earn the side of caution. I mean, let's not forget what happened in that IndyCar race 2011 New Hampshire, where they did start the race and put it back under green too early. You've got to be careful, because at the end of the day, if there is something on the track and it does cause an accident, then NASCAR will be liable. But I actually do think there are times when ESPN, they just pay the safety crew to go and chuck something onto the track so they can get an ad break in.
That shouldn't matter to ESPN because they throw ads in wherever they want anyway, so who cares if there's a caution or not?
It's an interesting point, though, actually. We're probably just going to get GoDaddy, Golden Corral, and Cialis adverts for ESPN next year, because they've only got 1 year left on their contract. Most of these TV companies, they try and sell advertising, 2-3 year blocks. It's kind of going to be boring watching adverts, even more than it is this year on ESPN. But, yep, money. It's all about the money. It's all about the dum-dee-dum-dee-dum. But, I don't know. ESPN's coverage, the thing is, I want to talk about it, because ESPN's coverage as a whole, there are some good elements to what ESPN does. It is overall a lot more professional than Mike Joy talking to me like I'm a 4-year-old, Darryl Waltrip going, "Come on, Mikey!" and so on, but they just ruin it with the incessant adverts. I'd always feel a little bit dirty after watching an ESPN broadcast.
See, because with NASCAR, they can get away with showing commercials basically whenever they feel like it. If you were to say, Denver Broncos are driving down the field in the fourth quarter, well, gotta go to commercial. That just doesn't play out. But the way NASCAR is without, times where there's going to be stoppages in the action, they play their ads wherever they want, whenever they want. And since it's all about money, it's all about the Benjamins and all that other good stuff, they just play all their ads, and it's ESPN covers NASCAR to make money, period, end of story. They could care less what's going on, and you can say that about Fox, TNT, NBC, whoever it is. They can have good people broadcasting the races and stuff and make it seem like they care more, but at the end of the day, if they're not making money on it, they could give two shits.
I'm not going to lie to you, I'm so glad the Peacock Network has got NASCAR from 2015, because what NBC have done with the F1 coverage, what they've done with IndyCar coverage, really, they've kind of shown America how to do race broadcasts again.
Well, see, NBC's in a position where they know that a lot of fans in the United States long for like the old ESPN days where they had, Ned Jarrett, Benny Parsons, and Bob Jenkins, just like three friends calling the race, telling you what's going on, not showing you obsessive commercials, not zooming the camera in so all you see is like two cars, you can't see the rest of the pack. They're trying to take, elements from the older days, maybe more simplistic days, and people enjoyed that coverage better. And they're also trying to attack, the 800-pound gorilla that is NASCAR and ESPN and all that stuff. So they're trying to do something different. I think it's been working. It'll be interesting to see how they cover NASCAR, if they do it like they've been doing with Formula One and IndyCar, or if they're going to revert back to the old days when NBC used to cover NASCAR and everybody couldn't stand it and couldn't wait for them to leave.
Well, didn't Alan Bestwick do coverage for NBC and then eventually he moved over to it? So chances are they're going to take, because Bestwick's not really going to have a job on ESPN unless he just wants to call the Indy 500, and that's about it. But I said this on Friday, but you couldn't really hear what I said. It does make me laugh that the speed visions. Oh, speed vision! We need to get our speed vision back on. This Fox Sports 1 is a piece of fucking shit. Fox Sports 1 is kind of helped increase NASCAR Race Hub viewership levels. The Truck Series is getting more viewers than ever before. Kind of. If you're a true NASCAR fan, what you want is what's best for the sport. And arguably, now Fox Sports 1 is a sports network and not just a specialist motorsports network. I think that's actually a good thing for NASCAR. And, for the sport, for motorsport as a whole.
Yeah, it probably helps with, more eyes on the sport potentially. Say you're watching a college basketball game and you see the promo and it's, the next thing. Having a less specialized network and more viewership is probably going to help, but can you keep those people to keep watching the events? That's going to be the key. Yeah. But then you got guys like Donovan McNabb after the truck race saying, "Oh, Jimmy Johnson's not an athlete." But that's a story for a whole nother day, I'm sure, because we don't have enough time, even in the hour we have left, to cover all that, because I think that's just complete BS.
Yeah, I mean, he might not be an athlete in the McNabb way, where you've got to be built like a truck house, but I think there's only one or two people that's not really an athlete, probably Tony Stewart, maybe not a per se athlete, but any racing car driver.
Then you get... Yeah. But, then you get involved in what is an athlete. Just because Tony Stewart can't run a 6-minute mile doesn't mean he's not an athlete. He's got the, mental capabilities to be an athlete. He's got the physical abilities in the car to sustain being in a 140-degree cockpit for 4 hours and not lose focus. You tell me any NFLer that could go in a car, put him in a Talladega, and say, here you go, it's going to be 140 degrees, go win the race, and don't kill anybody.
True. And there is one very easy way, let's not forget, to distract Tony Stewart, and that's just to wave a hot dog in the window. But apart from that, I completely agree with you.
I think the only reason that Stewart signed Harvick next year is that he could get free Budweiser.
Yeah. By the way, we have got Andrew King here, and this is actually useful, Dave, because Andrew King can play stuff, and we can both hear it. Hi, Mr. King.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, because Will can't be bothered to actually learn how to set it up right, even though Mr. King guided him through step by step how to do it right. So thank you for being here.
It crashed my system every time I tried to play something. It's not my
Maybe your
fault.
system's a piece of crap.
Well,
Is your system on the metric system? Because maybe
that's the entire reason. Well,
No, it's got the German market is just throwing everything off in England, right?
don't get me started on that fucking German
This is
market.
unbelievable what it's going on iRacing with IndyCar.
It's more unbelievable. Basically, what happens is, the second week of November, the Germans come to England. They invade us.
The Germans are coming.
The Germans are coming. Holy shit, the Germans are coming. And they set up, and they've got like 300 market stalls, and everything's like a little fucking shed, and they sell the pretty things in there, and it's all ridiculously expensive. I mean, for fuck's sake, you're paying $4 for a donut, for Christ's sake, which essentially is just a normal donut. It's just like a normal donut, and they just literally chuck some luminous green covering on it, or something like that.
Green covering.
And, yeah, it really annoys me, mainly because of the fact that, of course, I go to Starbucks, and it's right in the centre of Birmingham, and you get all of these middle-class, Daily Mail reading pieces of shit. It's like, hey, what coffee do you sell here? There's a fucking menu right up there when you've been having a little chat about how, black people should go back to their own country that you could have paid attention to, you fuckers.
Well, if we haven't been banned in Germany, we have to be now.
Well, yeah. Well, as soon as we start playing any music, and let's not forget, this can't go out live in Germany, because YouTube and Gma, they're all f***ing cunts, as far as I'm concerned. And most German people will agree with me that Gma are a bunch of money-grabbing, stuck-up cunts.
Are you saying that, no, you can't do any live broadcasts on YouTube in Germany, that it does not allowed?
Pretty much, yeah. There's no way of legally watching a live YouTube stream in Germany. There are less legal ways with proxies and bypassing stuff, but you can't actually watch YouTube broadcasts live in Germany, and that's a real big issue for a lot of sim racing broadcasters at the moment, because YouTube really has become that de facto standard now for broadcasting. It's so much better than Twitch TV, unless you're Travis Pinney, of course, and he fucking loves Twitch. I'm sure he owns shares in that thing. But, us, ETV, iRacing Brazil, everyone, we all use YouTube now, except for PSR TV, because they would much rather pump money into a system that doesn't work than use something that's free and does work.
They like going side by side.
We need to get Tim Tier on here one day.
We should. I mean, we still got 45 minutes. Maybe we can get him on.
He's Canadian. He's probably at Tim Hortons.
Oh, like Matt Cookwood?
Yeah, it's Sunday.
Davis.
It's a day. I mean, they don't even need an excuse to go to Tim Hortons, do they?
No, they're going every day, but when you say, oh, it's Sunday, it's like, well, we have to go.
Yeah, it's like, Christians go to church, Canadians go to Tim Hortons. I tell you what, there's probably some Tim Hortons that have a church inside it, so you can do both. That is a multitasking, and it's absolute best.
We'd like to, the Book of Tim Hortons, Chapter 3, Verse 10. Brothers and sisters, do not ignore the coffee.
Are good. Amen.
And the Lord said, there shall be maple, and there was, and it was great.
On the first day, God created Tim Hortons.
Yeah.
On the second day, he created maple donuts.
Just for the record, by the way, normally when we do this show on a Friday, I start with a full bottle of vodka. By the time that we finish hour 1, I've drunken about half of that bottle of vodka. By the time we're at hour 2, I have no idea what I'm actually saying. But being a Sunday and me having work tomorrow, I don't drink on Sundays. And also because I've got to commentate later on today. So I'm on the Starbucks, and it's kind of a bit of a noticeable difference, Dave.
Yeah, you're much clearer to hear.
Less tangents.
Less tangents. More of the stuff that you're saying actually makes sense.
Did you not hear what I was just saying about Tim Hortons and churches? That's the biggest fucking tangent I've done.
That's not even. No, that's like you on a regular Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not that Mario Kart bullshit.
Mario. I tell you what, Mario Kart 64 still has got to be possibly the greatest racing game ever made.
Better you play Mario Kart.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned Mario Kart, and Andreas mentions his Mario Kart all the time. We busted out the Nintendo 64 at my house last spring, and we had a 24-person tournament. I had a trophy made for it, and as an iRacing champion, I won the trophy. I got to keep my own trophy. It's sitting on my desk.
Well, I'm still thinking about all the shortcuts that you had. Of course, you had that one at Rainbow Road. If you could jump at exactly the right time, you get a third of the lap. There was the one at Wario Raceway as well. If you were to jump perfectly over these bumps on the left-hand side, you pretty much cut 3/4 of the lap.
Half the course. Yeah. You could do a lap in like 15 seconds.
But
and then don't forget the one everybody knows on the beach track where you jump the little ramp and you go through the cave and you come out the other side by the palm trees.
But that's kind of a prescribed shortcut, though. The other ones were just cheats, really.
Yeah, true. But you play the strategy. You go up the ramp when you don't have a mushroom, and you drop like a box on there or a banana peel. So when other people are trying to take the shortcut, they spin out and crash, and then they miss the shortcut, and then they have to lose even more time to get back straight and go around.
So what essentially we're talking about here is Mario Kart meets Call of Duty.
Essentially.
Awesome. Could you imagine Mario Kart on Call of Duty maps?
What if you had like Mario Kart and Grand Theft Auto 5?
That would be even better.
Sticky bombs and grenade launchers and prostitutes.
That would be... Did you see there was this
You
video?
can't win the race unless Mario picks up a whore.
Yeah.
Or Princess Peach.
Whoa.
Yeah. Would you like a private dance in this, Peach? It's like, Peach, what happened to you? Told you to stay off the smack.
Yeah. I tell you what, though, Princess Peach, she must be a little bit of... I mean, what, she keeps on walking into forbidden castles and getting herself locked up? Bullshit, she's a whore.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yep. So, that's Mario Kart. I say, did you see that video, though, on YouTube? I think it came out about 6 months ago. The guy who actually dressed up as Mario, got into a car and did this race around Brazil or something.
Yes.
That was fucking awesome.
Well,
didn't he even have like bananas and stuff that he was throwing out?
Yep. What is Mario Kart? I only know what Mario Kart is. So can you tell me what Mario is?
It's my perverted, retarded English speaking. The same way that it's GlacierTV.
How come that you're from England, but English people can't speak English correctly? But I'm from, Cleveland, Ohio, and I have no accent and speak English properly.
Well, define speaking English properly. It's your fucked up. Hi, I'm going to order some chips. Oh shit, these aren't things that we put in a fryer. These are something that we get in, in a bag in tin foil or something.
I don't have any explanation for why we say different words for things, but we say what words are available correctly, unlike Mario or Glacia.
Well, if you want, what I'll do is I'll start talking in a British Broadcasting Corporation voice. The time right now is 16:21, and now it's time for the shipping report with Andrew King.
Well, what were we talking about that one time? We kept asking Matt Cook and the Canadian guys, what words do they always say really weird? Do you remember?
The Canadian, everything is said weird. I don't even know what they're fucking talking about half the time.
Well, Porsuk was actually the guy who brought it up, but, he didn't want to show up and help us today.
Yeah, that's probably because he's with crazy eyes. Oh, good old Yoshi.
That sums it up perfectly.
Yeah. So,
well, hey, if you were somebody else, you'd be with somebody like me.
True.
On a Sunday.
True. Would that be
True
in a
story.
trailer park?
You know it, baby.
Giggity. Do I need to call the EMTs now or later?
Later.
Okay.
I want to be inside you.
By the way, did you see that Hail Mary in the whatchamacallit game, Auburn game yesterday?
Yes, I did. As soon as I saw the play, I'm screaming, bat it down, bat it down, bat it down. But you got these ignorant guys who are like, I want to get the interception, and it cost them the game.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
It's fourth down. Just smack the shit out of that ball, knock it to the ground, game over. But no, we're gonna have two guys on the defense try to intercept the ball, smash into each other, tip the ball right into his hands, and then score a touchdown for Auburn.
that has
Which
got
I know
to
John
be...
Gilk was excited because he's a big Auburn fan.
Well,
War damn Eagle.
we've got some links with Auburn University, actually. So one of my lecturers is just fascinated by the Tigers. Whenever they do well, I end up posting stuff on my lecturer's Facebook wall, which actually is clean, which is a first. And she actually brought me back a Tigers jersey from America because she was out there a couple of weeks back. So technically, I'm supposed to be an Auburn fan, but seeing as I'm an adopted Hoosier, apparently if you can actually sing Back Home Again in Indiana in a bar in Indiana, you become a Hoosier automatically. So I think my green card's actually in the post, Dave.
Hoosier.
Here we go.
Try to say
again.
it.
Hoosier.
I just gotta bust your butts
You are.
about it.
But I'm going to talk
Just try to say it. Just try to say Hoosier.
wanker. How about that?
Ooh.
Did that come out okay?
I think the pronunciation was a little off, but it was close.
Okay, good.
I think he was taking a personal shot at me.
Really? Taking a
Shots
personal shot
fired.
at you?
Really?
Wow. Yeah?
It's unbelievable.
It really is unbelievable what you
It's unbelievable, really unbelievable what you do.
Oh, by the way,
I love the Andreas sound clips.
by the way, there is a driver commenting that it's really great to see that the weather brings the driver back into play in the IndyCar series. So kudos to iRacing by some guy who I cannot actually bring myself to say his name. But
Can you send me? I would assume that he's a felon.
a jolly good felon. But
But he's a jolly good felon. For he's a jolly good felon.
it's actually ironic that there's a band called Lost Prophets in the UK who actually made a song called Jolly Good Felon.
Uh-oh.
And
Oh.
now the lead singer is he's finally having his court case in like a week's time. Possibly
It's
the
awful.
sickest court case I've ever seen in my life, King.
I read the article because I had listened to the Lost Prophets years and years ago, and when it came up on one of the music channels about what he did, like,
Allegedly.
I'm surprised he's still alive in prison.
Oh god. He's been on suicide watch for like the last 6 months, so he's isolated and
Yeah.
everything. The thing is, as far as that stuff goes, if we're going to do that, then there's one method which I'd like to use. It's called a blunt knife, removing something and letting you bleed to death, because it'll be so much satisfying.
It's just so messed up. Dave, did you hear the story about this?
No, I did not.
So basically, I have to look up the article, but it had something to do with molesting children or babies, even.
Allegedly. Ooh.
Allegedly, yeah, allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. Yes,
All
allegedly.
right. It's one thing to make fun of felons, but we don't need to go on with this. That's obviously sick.
It really is, but
This is not Will and Dave show friendly banter.
no, it's not.
No.
Should we talk about the IndyCar series, and we'll talk about Indianapolis next week? 10-mile-an-hour wind in the Open Series.
Well, hey,
Ooh.
we got to talk about the curse of the Will and Dave show again, since you screwed up last week.
Ooh.
Well, yeah. Shall we make our apology to any driver who may have been affected by the Will and Dave curse?
Yeah, the Will and Dave show would like to apologize to any driver currently or in the future that is affected by being on this show and has any bad luck in a 16th Street race and or runs out of fuel while leading.
Aw.
But I always say that's the National Guard curse, not just a Will and Dave curse.
Yeah, but yeah, Nefri was on here. If it was just Nefri that had the problem, all right, National Guard curse. But I had a garbage setup, crashed out, took out Randy, and then who else had problems? Wasn't there another guy that was on here? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you. Yeah, your stream went down for a minute, so
Our stream went down
obviously
for a minute.
obviously the Will and Dave show curse. And then we were cursed on Friday because your mic didn't want to work while we were talking about the curse. So it's obviously the Will and Dave show curse, not no longer National
Unbelievable,
Guard.
really unbelievable what you do.
And the issue is as well is that Joshua Chin, he had the issue, then he decided he wanted to come on the Will and Dave show. So
He's trying to reverse the curse.
yeah, which is but 10-mile-an-hour wind into turn 3. It's actually going to be right in the center of turn 3 as well. And we had a similar wind at the ISOWC Indy 500, but that was only, 4 miles an hour? Now, that was fun.
Yeah.
10 mile an hour wind is just fucking crazy.
Not only that, but look at the fixed series, 88 degrees in the fixed series. Those cars are going to be sliding around like crazy.
Could you
because
imagine
you can't
if we
make any
actually had tyre
adjustments.
wear? That'd be crazy.
That would be a crash. It's gonna. You know what? 88 degrees is already going to be a crash fest, and northwest winds at 6. So what is that? Blowing into turn 2?
Yeah,
I
it's
think?
right in the centre of turn 1 and 2, and often, if you get a good run out of one, the car can be a little bit loose, especially if you come from dirty air to clean air. So I expect to see a lot of people hitting the outside wall in turn 1, or just looping it through turn 1. And you've got quite a bit of humidity as well, so the draft is going to be critical at Indy, because if you lose a draft, you're fucked.
That's absolutely right. And with it being clear in the fixed, it's just with 88. I don't know what they were thinking.
Shadows.
Yeah, there's going to be shadows. Going to be ridiculous, especially going into turn 1, which is already hard enough as it is. And then you got to deal with the wind coming out of 1, and you're not going to be able to see as well going into 1. I don't see these fixed races having any more than 5-lap green flag runs before crashes.
Can I ask you a question? Yes? Can
What?
I?
Sure, go ahead. It's your show.
This is about well, it's our show, baby, our show. You see, when you go onto iTunes, it says my name and your name. If you look at the title, it says my name and your name. It doesn't say Paul's name. Paul gets really butthurt about it, but it says my name and it says your name on it.
Yeah, well, he's not here.
Well, yeah.
So screw him.
So,
Yeah.
we talk about iRacing. We talk about being the most realistic sim in the world. But am I the only one that just turns off the shadows when we come to Indianapolis, especially for the Indy 500 qualifying?
Nope, I definitely turn it off. Going into turn 1, I lose my point of reference once you hit that first shadow.
Yeah, I never run shadows.
And from what I've heard, isn't that shadow unrealistic to begin with?
It is
Probably.
kind of, yeah. Someone did some looking at where the sun should be at that particular point in time, and you generally don't get a shadow down there into turn number 1. But still, I mean, there are some people who, when they talk about realism, it's got to be as realistic as possible. That tyre is taking 1 corner too long to heat up, yet we do that. So, is it gaming the system, or is it just, everyone's going to do it, so you might as well do it as well?
Well,
Go ahead, Andrew.
Well, I was gonna say it's sort of like the same concept as turning off like your vertex shaders when you're in a tin top, because you're getting the dirt all over the windshield, and can you gain an unfair advantage by when you're racing, you're actually not building up dirt or oil on your windscreen.
You see, I do it the other way. I just deliberately never take a turn off, just so I have like this tiny little gap to look. It's so much more fun.
Well, you're assuming that when you run a race, you're racing long enough to actually build up enough dirt before crashing out.
Oh, fuck you. I lasted an entire race. In a Morgan Shirley benefit race, I did the entire 100 laps at Homestead and came like 5th. And yes, there was more than 5 cars running.
Oh, I was going to say that you started the first lap, pulled off into the pits, and then finished the final lap.
Yeah.
That's the John Borzuk tea and crumpet strategy.
It really is, isn't it? By the way, I lost 60 safety rating points the other day. Thanks, guys.
Oh, in that race?
Yeah, that race was a cluster.
Well, at least you finished. I got 17 inks, like 7 laps in, and got booted.
Yeah, so the disqualification thing does work.
Yeah, it's like poof.
Yeah.
And about 5 seconds after you get the 17th incident point, your car just goes poof.
Yeah, bye.
And you're gone.
Gone.
Do you end up last, or do you is it just like in NASCAR where it just stops timing and scoring?
It just stops timing and scoring. Wherever you were, as long as, everyone behind you's already out, you'll stay there.
Or, as Josh Mertz says, timing and scoring! But, yeah, back.
Yeah, the devil came and got me.
You did miss out yesterday, though, Dave. We did the Corvettes at Talladega. That is some fun shit.
What?
Corvettes at Talladega.
Why did no one tell me?
Well, because you were working.
Well, I wouldn't have been able to make it anyway.
Corvettes at Talladega. We tried the V8s at Talladega, but they kind of reduced the gear on it. So
Yeah.
you can't do that anymore. And that used to be so much fun, because you used to be able to go 7 wide. It used to be awesome.
You know what, though, Will? Indy was pretty fun with the Corvette.
It was, yes.
So maybe try that.
That was
You know what we should do? since we have an hour podcast every Friday, unless Will doesn't know what he's doing, after the podcast, we should do like a fun race every week at different tracks, different car combinations, and have like a Will and Dave show challenge, and do like, each season do like 5 or 6 races and score points, and just for fun, and we could see who's the best of the Will and Dave show listeners.
And it will be the
All 6 of
stupidest
you.
combinations ever, like the Williams at Lime Rock.
Oh God.
With a fixed set, of course.
In fact, no, fuck that. It'll be the Williams at the Jefferson reverse circuit at Summit Point.
Irwindale figure 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. You know what? I'm all for that.
Yeah, that would
Standing
work.
starts and stuff.
Yeah, I tell you what, I still would love them to do standing starts in an oval in hosted. It'd be fucking hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
Remember we did the cup car one time at Jefferson reverse?
Oh, God, yeah, when I just, find every way possible to wreck you.
Well, that's what you do anyway.
Well-
But yeah, you drove out into the grass starting 8th, and you thought you could get up to first in that first corner, and you just bonza. You hit me so hard, it shot me into the tire barrier, flipped me over, and out of the track.
I know. Well, the funny thing is, though, if it's a hosted race, I'm known as being someone who will be the most aggressive fucker
Jackass.
going. I will,
Jackass.
if I'm laps down, I'll just wreck anyone. But then you put me into the official series. So if I ever race an official series race, I'm like, oh, no, I can't possibly take that move. I might get 4 incident points.
Yeah, in the rare occasions that you actually do an official race, you are quite nice and proper and
Complete
neat out
opposite
there.
to what I do when I'm in hosted.
Yeah, when you're in hosted, you're like, how many cars can I wreck before I have to take a reset?
Well, I did wreck Swimbanks 3 times in that Corvette race yesterday. One of them was my fault. One of them was someone else's fault. One of them was just a bit of a netcode fuck up. But,
So who ended up winning?
Anthony McGuinness, someone who I've never really raced with before, but we had Dennis Caris in there, more poulet. In fact, we were actually in that race, working on a setup for half an hour, and Joseph Pascal comes in and was like 2 seconds a lap fast enough, because we thought the quick way to go fast is take all the wing off from that car. Then it was literally, the car would think, I've decided that my tyres have heated up too much, I'm spinning you around, right in the middle of any corner it wanted to.
I must go where people need me.
Bye! Bye!
No, the car, not me.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we got scared there for a minute.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, Vincent, I'm looking at your last 10 races, official races. I can date it all the way back to June 9th.
Well, in fact, should we go through my recent races?
Now, if I do my last 10 races,
Yeah,
I
but
can date back to November 1st.
okay. The issue is though, I don't like running the really shitty races in the middle of the week in the IndyCar, because without sounding like an arrogant prick, generally they're pretty easy races to get an easy top 2, top 3 finish. I'm not going to say I'm going to win every race I go into, but they're more boring. You don't get the racing that you get in the strength of field races. And when the strength of field races are on, I'm in bed masturbating.
Well, when are you not doing that? You don't have to be in bed.
Well, true.
It's unbelievable, really
Yeah,
unbelievable what
We
you
all
do.
know that when you told the story about eating a steak and racing at Talladega, we all know you weren't eating a steak.
No, that time I was actually eating a steak.
That's code.
I
That's
was
code.
no. I
Code.
basically wanted to see what I could do when I'm in a Talladega race, and I thought, you know what, fuck it, I'll drive my elbows, I'll eat a steak dinner, and I did. So that one did actually happen. Generally, I try not to masturbate when I'm racing because I don't want to get all onto my windshield.
Generally, you try not to. So you have to think about not doing it. Is that what you're telling me?
Oh, yeah, well, of course, I'm sat there behind Chris Overland thinking how sexy his ass is. And then
Yeah, what's
without
up
me
with that?
realizing my left hand's left the wheel.
Well, you said he was coming on the show last week because of all the swag he has, and then he
Yeah.
never came. What's up with that?
He had to babysit his nephew. This is why I hate kids. Fucking
How
can't
old
kids
is
just
he?
look after themselves, like 3 or something? We can't bring the kids
You
on the
sound like me?
podcast. Yes. In fact, no. Probably, kids probably got a lower voice than that.
What about like this?
Oh yeah.
Does it sound like me?
Shut up. Let's
Hi, I'm
talk
Chris
about
Overman.
my 10 races. Production car challenge, 13 incident points. Thanks, guys. Bit of pride in the Grand Prix Legends. That was fun. Talladega 500, which was fucking annoying, that race, because my internet dropped 4 times. 120 minutes of Thunder, which... That race is fun, but it really annoys me how it's run, to be fair. And the fact that there was always some dickwads in there who just deliberately try and go slowly so they can get prizes. I did an IndyCar race at Indy? What the fuck? I never race at Indy. I hate that track.
I hate that track too.
Was I on drugs when I did that race?
My God, last year when they were doing that 16th Street race at Indianapolis and they opened it up to the general public, I swear to God, I about put my wheel through my monitor, just trying to get all my laps down and be clean and be consistent and be fast. It was just so, like, I never wanted to race there ever again.
The IndyCar at Indianapolis Motor Speedway should never happen again.
Yeah, we need to take it off the schedule because, you know, it's the
It
most
should be
boring
off
shit
the
track.
schedule.
In fact, I thought that we are just going to do what they do in the Legends car and just alternate between 2 tracks. I thought it was going to be Kansas and Talladega on rotation.
Then you'd have much more participation.
Yeah, of course, the participation is going to be great, but the racing is going to be fucking bullshit!
You just
I
gotta
don't know
throw
what you're talking
Michigan
about.
out there. Michigan every week, and I'll be happy.
Hey, I'm BT, and I know Al.
Well, the thing is, Michigan, I don't like Michigan as much as I used to, because you used to be able to race Michigan. Michigan used to be fucking amazing to race. It's kind of a tamed down version of what it used to be.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, it's really hard to get around somebody on the outside now unless you're working actively with somebody.
Yeah.
That's true.
And it used to be, you know, if you could run that second lane, you'll make the pass happen. Simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the strategy that I employed for seasons. I would basically never let a car go to the outside of me. I would always, if I was trying to overtake them, I would always be on the outside, because then they'll be the ones pinned down. I always hated having to run that first lane at Michigan back in the day. Now it's a piece of piss.
Yeah.
Will, we have a suggestion for our Will and Dave podcast challenge series, the Spec Racer at Daytona. What's your thoughts on that?
Well,
Racing Roomba.
We have done the Mazda races, of course, before. We do the Mazda, the Miata. Happy? The
Mazda.
The Mazda.
Mazda.
Mazda. I'm going to sound like
Mazda
Lloyd
MX-5.
Grossman. Who lives in a house like this? But then we also have the Legends car, and we occasionally also get ourselves the... What car do we get in there? Oh yes, we are
Welcome
also...
to Daytona with
we
the
also
Mazda.
have the Skip Barber in there as well. So maybe with a Spec Racer Ford, if the gear is short enough, you never know.
Ooh.
The Spec Racer Ford is a car of many challenges.
Yeah.
Oh god, here comes all the old-timey references again.
Yeah. So,
He's in the catbird seat. He's in the catbird seat.
Mikey. But that Mazda race
You're clicking again.
at Talladega was fucking awesome.
George,
We need to get George onto the show. In fact, I'll quickly make a phone call whilst I talk about this. But that Talladega race was just epic in the MX Fighters, because it became a case of how low on the apron could you go whilst keeping the speed up.
Yeah, well, at one point, I was too wide on the apron for the lead.
Oh my god.
And then there were 2 guys above me, above the yellow line. So we were 4 wide, 2 on the apron.
And we had
It's
2 cars in lane
unbelievable,
1.
really unbelievable what you do.
And we started off, everyone stood above the yellow line, and then people decided to be a little bit like BT and, you know, start running the apron. And when we found out that you can slingshot on the apron, then we found that you could actually run the bottom part of the apron. I think the only thing that stopped us from doing a proper Darlington and just cutting the entire track, or Phoenix actually, was the fact that there was grass in the way.
That's true. You know, Darlington with the MX-5 is also a fun track to run.
It is. It really is. Because
I'm telling you, we need to come up with like an 8 or 10 race schedule. I'll host them all, and you know,
gotta
5:15
host them
Easterns
all,
on
Will
Friday.
and Dave.
We could make them happen. I think we could have a lot of fun with that. Do like mostly Mazda races, but then have like a Indy Talladega or a Corvette Indy race or a Star Mazda Daytona at night, full fog.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Charlotte full fog at night, that's going to be pretty fun as well.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh.
Not as bad, of course, as
Oh.
Motegi full fog.
You know what would be scary?
What?
How about a car with no headlights at Sebring night, no, with 100% fog?
Well, you've got the little reflective rumble strips, and that's it. So if you can complete 5 laps right in ink, and do it within 10% of the time that you would normally set, I will give someone $25. Because no one.
All right, that's the next Will Vincent challenge.
There we are. So
Challenge accepted.
By the way, I haven't been able to get Jordan on the line, but I have got Kimmy.
Kimmy, how are you today?
Well, it's okay. I wanted to be in America because you always have very good cowboy hats, and I love seeing the inbred rednecks when they go to Grand Prix. But it's a shame that I'm in Finland, but vodka's good, so yeah.
Kimmy, we need you to save your tires.
Yes. I know what I'm doing, but that Hickey Kovalainen, he does, okay job. Maybe, he's not as shit as everyone says he is. There we are. Are we done with him? Kimmy, are you gonna?
Sure.
Yeah.
I think he was done with us.
Yeah.
Better you play Mario Kart.
Yeah, whatever. I go back now to yacht. Does anyone see that Renault Clio advert with Kimi Räikkönen, where the guy? Are
Yes.
you lost? No. You're here for holiday. Why are you here? I don't know. Like Kimi Räikkönen trying to be funny, and it just fails miserably, pathetically.
How
Just
is
be yourself?
How is Kimi going to put up with the Ferrari corporate buttoned-up culture again after dealing with Lotus, where he had like no sponsor obligations? He could drink vodka in the car while he was racing and all this other stuff.
Well, to be fair, knowing Kimi Räikkönen, he'll remember the fact that Marlboro still sponsor Ferrari, even though they're not allowed to have their name anywhere. He'll just spark up midway through an interview. Oh, just give me one moment. I need to get a little bit of nicotine, so don't forget, Marlboro cigarettes are really good cigarettes. We have them all the time in Finland.
You truly are the king of kings.
Very appropriate.
I think that rather is, actually, but I don't know. I think at Ferrari, Fernando does all the work anyway, because of the fact Santander and the main sponsor, they fucking love Fernando due to the fact that they're both Spanish. But I think Kimi's going to get an easy ride. And let's not forget, everyone thinks Kimi's going to be the number 2. That means he has to do fuck all.
That's true. Oh, we've on the YouTube page, we've gotten a South Boston recommendation. What car could we run there?
Oh, God, South Boston, anything?
Go-karts.
We did the IndyCar there once, remember? That was fucking amazing.
We did IndyCar at Bristol, too.
Yes.
And one Will Vincent wrecked me when I was leading.
Yeah. The F1 car
Monster.
at Bristol, that is, like, fucking crazy shit. I've done that before.
It's like a toilet bowl.
HPD at Sobo. Or
that
Concord.
would be fun. That would be fun. But, of course, we were in that DirtySouthRacing.com!
Yeah, they can go fuck themselves.
Yeah. Well, they booted us for actually no reason.
Yeah, we were racing fine, and we come through the pits, and we stop, and then all of a sudden we got booted.
I think
no
it's because of the
explanation.
I think it's because of the fact, in the fixed Talladega setup, you had an Englishman at the top of the fucking timing sheet. Now, that's just not allowed.
Well, they thought you were faking your voice. Well, they kept asking you to turn your voice changer off, and you're like, "This is my voice." And they're like, "Oh, are you sure about that?" And they're screaming at you in their hillbilly voices, in their horrible website.
Are you sure that is your actual voice? I never heard anyone speak like that ever again.
Silverado at Pocono Road Course.
Oh, that Pocono Road Course is just fucking... Although, you do know that runs the wrong way round.
Yes, John Paquin has told me many times that it is going the wrong way, and for whatever reason, iRacing has just thrown their hands up in the air and says, "We don't care."
Can you just imagine Paquin trying to actually do a lap there, and the car's saying, "You're going the wrong way." No, I'm fucking not! I've done a million fucking laps here! Yeah. Oscar Hardwick's listening. What the fuck are you listening to this for, Oscar?
You're going the wrong way.
We need to make
You're going the wrong way.
we need to make the Andreas Straitman
Supposed to follow the
spotter
yellow brick
pack.
road.
Too bad it wasn't for $1 million.
And the better driver goes in front. Not the lucky driver, the better driver.
I think that's just like the perfect comment, you know.
That is truth.
Can you just, you know, put yourself back to Dave? It really
Yes.
turns me on when you talk like Barry White.
So you're about as wore out as a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest.
Yep.
Oh, I thought you liked this voice best.
Oh, you know, baby, it just turns
Yeah.
that turns me on as well.
It reminds me of one of my Floridian friends.
Actually, no, it sounds more like the New Jersey guy that he's friends with.
New Jersey, what a toxic dump that place is.
Well, yeah, true. You know, the only good thing about New Jersey, arguably, is, you know, the stadium they have, but still, the teams that play there are a bunch of wankers. Talking of which, how the fuck did the Jags win last week? And also the Bucks win last week? How?
Statistics, that's all.
Versa.
Chance.
Okay, I'm going to ask you the legitimate question here. Can the Chiefs beat the Broncos?
Sure, they can beat them,
Yep.
but will they beat them? No.
Well,
It
aren't
probably
they
depends on
playing
where they play,
twice
too.
in 3 weeks, both
I mean,
times
for-
on Sunday Night Football?
For Christ's sake, the Chiefs won a game against the Bills and didn't even score an offensive touchdown,
True.
and they scored 23 points.
Well-
That's not gonna work against Peyton Manning in Denver.
Well,
No,
you
we
are
gotta score
putting
touchdowns.
up arguably the best offensive line in the NFL with one of the top 5 defensive lines in the NFL. And I think what the Kansas City Chiefs have done really well is just found a way to really, you know, block the running game and have very good man-to-man coverage. Have I just,
Sure, whatever you say, Will.
Yeah, have I just confused the fuck out of you by being able to talk about American football?
No, see,
America!
none of that stuff matters when you're a Cleveland Browns fan because we're usually just such a terrible team that we do everything wrong, so we don't try to focus on how to do things better. So all this stuff you're talking about is just completely foreign to me.
It could be worse. You could be a Houston Texans fan.
Yeah, that's true.
There we are.
Oh.
Or you could be a Tim Tebow fan.
Drink.
He still has no team.
Nah.
Danica!
Danica! I said this on Friday, didn't I? Could you imagine if Tebow and Danica got married?
Danica.
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 Do you think that... Because they
Danica.
have a... Shut up. They have a new top guy over at GoDaddy. And, of course, he's pulled a Hinchcliffe sponsorship, which I think is pathetic.
Lame.
You know, you
Lame.
get 2 wins. You get more wins in one season, and Danica was able to do in fucking 3 years. They pull the sponsorship.
12
But-
years.
Yeah, well,
Yep.
the
Yep.
moving on, but
Such an iconic car, too.
it is.
Like, you could pick out the GoDaddy car out of any of the cars.
Well, yeah, I mean, the impact that GoDaddy car has, everyone knows what the GoDaddy car is. And also, the Hintra homepage ad campaign was fucking hilarious.
I've got some more suggestions when we're done.
But if Danica doesn't keep that GoDaddy sponsorship, there's no... She's basically a female shitter version of Sam Hornish in NASCAR. And let's be honest,
Oh,
Hornish
no,
was
come on
pretty
now.
shit in NASCAR in the Sprint Cup Series.
Yeah, because he wasn't given the proper time to develop. And now look at him.
Danica wasn't
Challenging
given the
for the
proper time to develop too, though, let's be fair.
Okay.
The only thing that's developed
that's a fair
to
point.
an A-cup is her tits.
Well, that's a fair point, but how many years did she have an IndyCar and she still couldn't do anything?
Well, yeah, true. I mean,
Skip it.
her best year was actually her first year. After that, she was pretty much shit the entire time that you were at a high-banked track, and that's only because, as I said on Friday, you could tape her tits up and use it as a separate weight jacker.
Might want to ring the bell on this one. Will Vincent versus Danica Patrick.
Yeah, well, the following contest is scheduled for one fall. Introducing in the red corner, that big fucking loser, Danica Patrick!
Well, we could maybe you guys could challenge each other the V8 supercar at Lanier or Tour Modified at Brazil,
That would be
Interlagos.
crazy shit.
Oh my God, people would die.
Will, so you need to start writing some of these down because we only got a few minutes left.
Well,
in this,
we did remember
hour
on
podcast.
We did on I think it was Wednesday night. We did the Sebring IndyCar, but we did it where we put the gear stacks as long as they would go. So first gear would do 180 miles an hour. So essentially, you can only
theory.
drive in first gear.
Ho, ho, ho.
Oh, now we go back to the bus.
All right, Sam Hornish, going back to IndyCar, yes or no?
It would be. It's just like a better Montoya going back to IndyCar.
Yeah,
But
but
apparently
with
Ganassi-
Dario gone.
Yeah,
With Dario
apparently-
gone, there's like no sideburns anymore.
True.
This is true. True story. Apparently, Ganassi called Hornish, and Hornish declined.
Well, of course,
But-
because Hornish.
but that's
is
why he
like
was
sucking
still
the
running.
Dick of Roger Penske.
Whoa, hey yo.
Well, I mean, this is one thing I didn't get. Why Montoya would completely turn his back on Ganassi and go... I mean, yes, of course, he did lose the cup ride to a 4-year-old, but still, you don't need to then go to the enemy, do you?
Juan Montoya has proven time after time it's all about Juan. He's going to do whatever he wants. There's no loyalties. If Penske was offering him a cup ride when he was too fat to fit in the Williams anymore, he'd have taken it then. So,
True. And let's be honest, he only has one vision.
let's be honest as well. The only reason Montoya ran NASCAR is because he could eat as many Big Macs as he wanted to, and he'd still fit in a car.
And he got 20% off at Target. Which is always good
This
when you're
segment
not paying
brought to you by
taxes.
McDonald's.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because Jamie
Yeah, apparently
McMurray's
he's
in
not
the
paying
other
his
car.
taxes either.
Yeah, Jamie McMurray's in the other car, wasn't he? So he'd get through McDonald's from McMurray. He could spend all of his, tax-free earnings at Target, and now he's bankrupt.
And McMurray is sponsored by McDonald's, so I'm sure.
I just
Juan's
said
getting
that,
a-
you fucktard.
Well, I'm repeating it because it was worth repeating.
The Kia at Dover, no, the Kia at Dover is a waste of space and energy.
Any car at Dover is a piece of crap.
The rest of to IndyCar, you see, I want the rest to stay in Formula One because the rest has got talent, and there are a couple of people who go to IndyCar who don't really have much talent, and that's a hard
We
way
don't
of
need
saying it,
talent
but
in
it's
IndyCar.
true. Yeah, all you do is you turn left and you put the fucking foot to the floor. I mean, Brandon Trost could probably run better than Melchidino
Oh.
did.
Ding, ding, ding.
But the McLaren at Bristol, now that could be fun.
You know what? Well, he couldn't do racing in real life because then he wouldn't be able to post on the forum under caution.
Well, if Keselowski can post on Twitter, then he could post on the forum.
Yeah, but
And
his cell
the
phones
better
are banned.
driver goes in front, not the lucky driver.
The better driver. How many times have I heard that, and it still cracks me up?
It's still great.
Langley, I don't think I've ever driven at Langley. Ever. F1 at Oran Park will be funny shit. I will give you that. The F1 car at any of those short tracks is going to be great. I still think you have it at Jefferson Reverse. And do it in such a way that you can, pick setup so the car's twitchy as fuck anyway, and you've got yourself a race. But should we talk about that directly? Because it is the US Grand Prix today. And I have to say, it is so satisfying to see a crowd at an open wheel race. We talked about NBC earlier. I think NBC's done a good job this year of co-promoting both IndyCar and F1, which helps IndyCar, it helps F1 out. It helps the viewership for both of them. I mean, we know that only 14 people watch IndyCar coverage, but if at least 10 of those people then watch the F1 coverage, you probably doubled the ratings they had on Speed.
Sorry, I was reading Twitter again.
Well, yeah. And by the way, you can use the hashtag Will and Dave. Follow me at Will Vincent. Follow Dave at DRJ2983. Did you just make up that hashtag, that Twitter handle, knowing that I'm dyslexic and knowing I'm going to fuck it up once in a while?
Yeah, because 5 years ago when I made that name up, I knew you and knew it was going to screw you up.
And you knew that we were going to do the Will and Dave podcast.
We only got, like 2 or 3 minutes left?
In
5.
Soviet Russia, Will and Dave show listens to you.
Indeed. And don't forget they provide us with vodka as well. So, yeah, US Grand Prix today. It actually looks like it might be a pretty funny race.
Yeah, but I still see Vettel winning in the end.
God. Vettel.
Oh, that's right.
balls
That
the
is today,
shit
isn't
out of
it?
me, yeah. Well, Bernie Ecclestone, he has got some bollock to go up head-to-head with the final NASCAR race of the year, which is always one of the better NASCAR races of the year as well. But he pulls it off. He gets a crowd in a NASCAR state to go and watch F1 rather than watching NASCAR.
Yeah, to be fair, you got a lot of people coming from, different countries. You got a lot of people coming up from Mexico to see, Checo and
No, they're only coming up from
Gutierrez and
Mexico because it means they don't go back down afterwards. It's a very easy way of getting through immigration. Once you're in, you're in.
Yeah, there's lots of underground tunnels and stuff now that you can just, hey, gates are open, come on in.
But only for the race, and then you got to go back, please.
See, that's what I don't understand about the U.S. government quickly. We're going to get on Juan Montoya and Elio Castro-Neves about not paying their taxes, but we got millions of people in the United States who we know are here, shouldn't be here, and we don't give a damn about them not paying anything. So
True.
That's my political diatribe for the day.
Coming up next on One Day Podcast, we can't talk about politics next week, of course, though. That's because, we're not allowed to really say anything about politics or governments or anything, because it'll be, 50 years since JFK died, which is it's still crazy thinking it's 50 years.
Too soon, Andrew, too soon.
That's more controversial, I think, anything I have said in years.
No way. You've been on here many times screaming things that you shouldn't be saying.
Well, yeah,
and
true.
on the YouTube channel, we've been referred to as gangsters.
Yo, you talking about me like as I is like a gangster? I is gonna rap for you. I is gonna sing for you. You're like, brup, N-word, N-word.
Ollie obviously has no idea how white I am.
Yeah, well, he knows how black I am.
I am of English, Dutch, and Irish descent, and I live in Ohio. I don't tan, I just burn. I go from pale white to sunburned red in like 10 minutes.
Awesome. Very quickly about today's
well,
F1
I got sunburned at Indy under cloud cover this year.
That's why you should use the tan lotion. You put the tan lotion onto then you tan into the lovely brown color. Then, of course, you do not look Zarian, so, what are you going to do?
You're turning me on, baby.
But F1 race, very quickly today. Nico Hülkenberg, he's got a great chance, I think, where he is in that Sauber car, of securing himself a driver next year. Of course, we talked about Heikki Kovalainen earlier when we talked to Kimi, with a Y, of course, because it's not the real Kimi Räikkönen, in case you didn't realise. Kovalainen's got a good shot as well in that Lotus.
Yep, somebody texted me, sorry. I keep getting interrupted.
Never pay attention when I talk about something relevant.
Yo, it's the last 10 minutes of the show, and we're sitting here, just losing it.
Yeah, lose yourself in the music, if you want it, you're never gonna let it go.
Going.
Yeah, but usually, on Fridays, by this time, we're deciding what race we want to go screw around with, so we start talking about that. But since we're not doing it today, we're just completely running off the tracks. Yep. Hey, do you have, a train crashing sound?
Not yet, but I can work on it.
Choose whatever appropriate sound you have to play right now for that.
Well, a very, very heavy rotation tonight. We had a very Darrison.
And
let's go ahead, Tason, for the heavy pit.
Well, if you want to hear that in a commentary form, then don't forget the 16th Street Indy Grand Prix of Sebring, presented by the Will and Dave podcast, will be on 7 p.m. Eastern tonight, and that will be on iRacing Brazil. There we are. That's the way that you tie one thing that someone says into something else, Dave. Pay attention.
I might have to watch that race tonight since I won't be running it.
I think you should commentate it with me. Come on.
Ooh.
Come on. Do it for me.
If all the NASCAR stuff ends early enough and Harvick hasn't won the championship, I'll try to get here.
If Harvick hasn't won. So what if Harvick wins the championship? Are you just going to be running around the street naked, drinking Budweiser?
Well, I won't be running around naked, but I will definitely be consuming plenty of Budweisers because that will be amazing and it'll be a miracle and it'll never be seen again.
Right, we are time that we have to wrap this up. So I start playing music.
It's S-E-X. I don't know how they fucking spell in England.
See, I can hear it because you don't know what you're doing.
L-A-X. I don't know what you call it over there.
So that is it. This is Will and Day's show on Sunday. The reason why we did it today is because we completely fucked up the one on Friday. I fucked up the one on Friday, so we had to do it again. This, by the way, goes out syndicated 9 p.m. on Tuesday, 9 p.m. on Thursday on the ETV Motorsports Radio Network. We'll be back on our standard time. That is Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, on GlacierTV. Don't forget, we'll be on iTunes every week as well. We'll have more bullshit. Once we go off there, and I've taken a dump, we'll talk about what we're going to do for this series. Dave, say thank you to people.
Thank you.
Normally at this point, Dave makes a reference to, thanking God or something like that. And then I always talk about how it's not religious to do so. So I'd like to thank Buddha, I'd like to thank Allah, and I'd like to thank all of the Hindu gods for everyone who listens to the Winning Dave podcast. We'll see you next week.
Of all the podcasts,
Goodbye.
This is my most recent.
Is that it? We done?
Yep.
Good. Bye. By the way,
Bye.
I love everyone who's listened to this today. I don't know why you decided to come and listen to us on a Sunday, but we've done it. See you later, guys. Bye.
He couldn't drive a
Adios.
toothpick up a goat's ass with a 10-pound sledge.